Welcome to this week's video where I discuss what I believe is important for individual investors to consider over the next 5 to 10 business days when they make their investment decisions. All the topics we'll be speaking about are macro in nature. We'll discuss the Russia-Ukraine situation and how that's affecting individual investors' portfolios. The Fed will have a meeting this week, highly anticipated that they will increase interest rates by a quarter point. And lastly, oil. The price of oil is affecting our portfolios tremendously. As oil moves higher, stock market tends to move lower, and vice versa. What should investors be thinking considering oil? The Ukraine-Russia conflict now has entered into its third week, and individual investors continue to call me or email me and say, how long can this last? How low can the stock market go? And many investors are starting to become worried, fearing that this war could expand outside of Ukraine. While I don't have all the answers from a geopolitical standpoint, I do believe history can tell us something. Usually events like this do not last long, and in fact, 6 to 12 months later, the stock market is exactly where it was before, and in many instances, even higher. So what I've been telling individual investors is this: take a look at what is being sold off. If individual companies and their stories are intact, meaning positive stories, positive earnings, positive revenue growth, then these are names I think you can actually take a look at buying at this time. Yes, the situation in Ukraine is dire, and we are all hurt by what is happening over in that part of the world. However, individual savvy investors are definitely looking at this as an opportunity to buy individual names a lot cheaper than what they were maybe just a month ago. So if you're an investor today, I know what you're seeing is very disappointing and disheartening. But if you're looking to put money to work in your portfolio, RRSPs, tax-free savings account, whatever portfolio you're looking to invest in, I think you need to look at this as an opportunity to get into some good quality investments at very cheap prices. And going forward, I think you will be rewarded over the next 6 to 12 months. The Federal Reserve is set to meet this week, and it is highly anticipated that they will raise interest rates by 1/4 point. Thus, many would say this is kind of a non-event. I don't believe that is the case. Yes, we all are anticipating a 1/4 point hike in interest rates, but what will they say regarding the next meeting? Will they start to talk about how the Russia-Ukraine war is starting to affect the economy, and therefore maybe interest rate hikes are not in the cards over the next few meetings? What will they say in their commentary? That is what individual investors need to focus on, more so than the actual 25 basis point hike, which they've already communicated to the rest of the world. So let's look to this meeting for clues as to what the Fed is thinking going forward. Will they continue to raise rates at a quick pace, or will they begin to slow down as this Russia-Ukraine war tends to drag on over the coming weeks? Price of oil has gone up tremendously over the past month. I think everybody is feeling it when they go to fill up their cars, when they go to the store and they find their grocery bill is a lot higher. Price of oil directly affects inflation. As we know, inflation in this country is at highs we haven't seen in 40 years. When will this inflation fall? Well, I think clues to that will be, when will the price of oil fall? And as long as the Russia-Ukraine war continues on, it's going to be hard for the price of oil to fall. We've heard from other countries such as Iraq, such as Iran, UAE, countries that are talking about perhaps producing more oil. Obviously, Iran, their sanctions need to be removed before they can help with the situation with production of oil for around the world. But Iraq, UAE, the United States, many countries are now talking about producing more. And that's what it's going to have to happen if we're going to see oil prices fall. Living in Canada, oil makes up a very large component of our stock market. So many Canadians that have had oil exposure to their portfolio have reaped the rewards for a higher oil price in their portfolio, even though at the gas pumps, they may be cursing when they fill up their cars. Going forward, I think oil will begin to fall. We've already seen it fall from the highs of the 120s in and around 110. I think as we start to hear better news coming out of the Russia-Ukraine situation, peace talks, the price of oil will begin to and continue to fall as we see it getting lower and lower, below $100, and in my opinion, even below $90. I believe there could be as much as a $30 premium built into the price of oil at this time. And when we start to see some more clarity with regards to the war in Ukraine, I think the price of oil will fall dramatically and very quickly. So if you're an investor that owns a lot of oil stocks, be careful. I think you need to keep an eye on what's going on overseas and keep an eye on your portfolio at the same time, because oil is definitely not for the faint of heart. Owning oil stocks are very volatile, and you could be caught on the wrong side of a trade very quickly. So monitor those oil companies and be alert as to what's happening over with the Russia-Ukraine situation.